Hey guys, I hope you're doing good. In this video, we're going to look at another program from the ICSE 10 years question papers. Write a program to initialize the given data in an array and find the minimum and maximum values along with the sum of the given elements. So we have to take some numbers in the array, we have to fill that array, and then we have to find the maximum and the minimum along with the sum of all the elements of the array. So we have to take the numbers mentioned as 2, 5, 4, 1 and 3, and we have to find the minimum and the maximum value. So we have to initialize with these numbers. So pretty simple problem, but finding the maximum, minimum and the sum, we have to add some logic in the for loop. Okay, so let's start. Okay, now let's first write the method in which we are going to run this code. So we have to initialize an array. So we can dynamically initialize the values that we have already given in the question. So in the question we had 2, 5, 4, 1 and 3. 2, 5, 4, 1 and 3. We would print these numbers in a line, and then after that we would find the maximum and the minimum. So for maximum I am considering a variable a max, for minimum I am considering a variable min, and for sum I am taking a variable as sum equals to 0, where I would find out the sum of all the elements of the array. Now for loop would be run with I is the index. So suppose this is the array we have. So this is the array 2, 5, 4, 1 and 3. Okay. So this is the array A that we have taken, and so we are running that index loop. So index starts from 0 to the length minus 1. So I value would start from 0 and i's value would be ending to the array dot length, the array length minus 1. Okay, since I have written smaller than equals to, so the length of the array minus 1, I plus plus. So here we are inside the now body of the loop. So this loop is responsible for generating the index values. I's value would be 0, then plus 1 it would be 1, then plus 1 it would be 2, and likewise it would get incremented by 1, and we are going to get that index. So now our task would be to find the maximum and the minimum one. So let's first initialize the max equals to a of 0. We are considering that the maximum and the minimum element is the first element of the array. This is just an initialization, an assumption that we are considering the first element to be the maximum and smallest. Maximum and minimum both variables are initialized with the first number that is stored in the 0th index. Now we would find out any number that is more than this value, we would store that in max, and for minimum any value that is smaller than a of 0, that we will store in min. Means smaller than that we would store in that variable. Okay, let's first print the number. So first we would print the array. So let's first print system out dot print the a of I plus a space. So the numbers would be printed side by side, and inside that loop only I would find out which is the smallest and which is the greatest number. Okay, so first if I am running that, if max is smaller than a of 0, a of I, then max is equals to a of I. Okay, so if max is smaller than a of I, that means that some other value is greater than max. Now max, whatever value is inside max, that is no longer greater now. So greater than that also has occurred. So that number need to be stored in max, means the previous value would be overridden, would be erased, and the new number which is greater than the previous one should be stored. So that's why max equals to a of I. Now for the minimum, now if this min variable is greater than any other number, that means a number has occurred that is less than minimum, That means mean value, whatever value is stored in mean, is no longer the smallest one. Even smaller than that has occurred. So that should be the smallest now. So mean equals to A of I. So with this two if, we are finding which is the maximum and which is the minimum. Okay, not only that, we have to find the sum also. So after that, I am writing it here. Okay, I am writing it continued. So after finding maximum and the minimum, I would find the sum. They have just asked to find the sum of all the elements. So I am writing sum equals to sum plus A of I, and here is the end of the for loop. So what we are doing inside the for loop, we are finding the maximum. First we are printing the numbers side by side. I have used print statement that would print the numbers side by side in the same line. After that I have found out which is the maximum number. If max is more than A of I, that means A of I is now greater. So that number will be stored in max now. Now next, this if statement is used for finding the minimum number. If mean is greater than this number, that means this number A of I means in the element present in the ith index of the array that is smaller than mean. So A of I would be stored in minimum. And at the last I am finding the sum of the elements, since in the question it has asked that find the sum of the elements also. So we would find the sum here and we would close the loop. Now outside the loop, so far what we have printed the number side by side, means in the computer screen we would get 2, then 5, then 4, then 1, then 3, and the cursor is waiting after 3. Now in the next line what we have to do, we have to print which is the maximum and which is the minimum number, like minimum value colon this one. So we have to print system out dot print ln. Now since the cursor is waiting just in the previous line, as we have used print statement, we have to give a slash n. So backslash n, we would write minimum value colon plus min. Okay, so minimum value is plus min. Now we have to print the maximum value also, system out dot print ln. Now you don't need to give slash n now, because already print ln statement makes the cursor move to the next line. So now we have to print the maximum value. Now we would print the respective variable, that is the max variable that stores the maximum number. Now after that we would print the sum of the elements. Colon plus sum. So we are printing the maximum, the minimum and the sum. Now function and class is closed. So this program finds out the maximum, the minimum element and the sum of the elements of the array. Now in the question the array was already provided as 2, 5, 4, 1, 3. So we took that number here. If the numbers were not told in the question, you would have taken that as console input, or you could have taken as a input parameter in the method. Okay, I hope you have understood that. If you face any difficulty, mention that in the comment section, and after this in the next video we are going to run this code and see the output. That's all for today. Meet you in the next video. Thanks for watching.